He's essentially guilty of journalism.
Censorship is very prevalent.
This is a man who stood for the right thing.
We presume he probably will be convicted.
Killing him will have no benefit to Hong Kong and China. I have hope that I will one day see my father again.
He is Hong Kong's most high-profile prisoner, and the heightened security that has surrounded his case was deployed once again on its final day, as Jimmy Lai was driven into West Kowloon Court. His wife Teresa has remained free to attend the trial, which lasted twice as long as expected. Jimmy's son Sebastian lives in exile from Hong Kong.
He's essentially guilty of journalism. And the courage to stand up for his principles and his journalists. All these allegations of him being behind the protests, well, it turns out the only time he met with the students was to tell them to be peaceful. He never advocated for Hong Kong independence.
Jimmy Lai was arrested 5 years ago, weeks after Beijing imposed the national security law in 2020. The media tycoon and prominent pro-democracy supporter had long been an opponent of the Chinese Communist Party. During his trial, opinion pieces he wrote for his newspaper, the Apple Daily, and his contact with US politicians were used to support charges that he colluded with foreign forces and published seditious material. After his arrest, his newspaper offices were raided and closed. A day which human rights organisations describe as the end of free speech in Hong Kong.
Now, even a lone protester, risks arrest if they dare to speak up. You had many media outlets, independent media outlets in Hong Kong. Most of those have been shuttered, including Apple Daily, which was founded by Jimmy Lai. Censorship is very prevalent. And, there's so much fear amongst Hong Kong people that self-censorship, unfortunately, has become the norm.
The UK government has called on the Hong Kong authorities to release Jimmy Lai, who is a British citizen. There is growing concern for his health. The 77-year-old has spent the last 5 years in solitary confinement. He has diabetes and has developed heart problems. China has accused foreign governments of judicial interference and glorifying criminal behaviour. The authorities claim Mr. Lai requested to be kept apart from other prisoners, something his son rejects.
From my understanding, he didn't ask for it. It wouldn't be logical to do so.
Trials under the national security law are being held without a jury by a panel of government-approved judges, leading to questions about the fairness of the legal process. There has been almost a 100% conviction rate so far.
We don't know when he'll be convicted, but we presume he probably will be convicted. And I think at that point, it's really important that the UK government presses for his release on humanitarian grounds, also because he's a 77-year-old man in ill health. Any lengthy prison term is going to be very detrimental to his health.
A conviction would likely mean Jimmy Lai will die in prison.
This is a man who stood for the right thing and did so peacefully, and killing him will have, first of all, no benefit to Hong Kong and China, but also, as the Foreign Secretary said, it will have consequences.
One hope for his release could come from Donald Trump, who has promised to raise the matter with the Chinese President Xi Jinping. We heard in court that Jimmy Lai was a Republican supporter, evidence which was used against him.
You got to keep trying, and that's how you keep the hope alive. I think it's you can't just sit around and hope that some miracle frees him. So that's what I do. I keep doing this so that I have hope that I will one day see my father again.
The verdict and a decision whether Jimmy Lai will ever be a free man again are expected in 2 months' time. Debbie Edward, ITV News.